You ever been intimidated by Alaskan street youths? Well, it's something I can check off the old bucket list now, I suppose. My wife had her baby sprinkle, I guess is what you're supposed to call it after you already had a kid. It's a sprinkle. Didn't hear that before, but we went to it out in Palmer and a little tea room set up. It was very cute, very quaint. And on the way home, we had just gotten off of Parks Highway on Seward Meridian and we were heading back to the house. Now, this car comes from the left, this truck full of dude bros, and they pull out and pretty much cut off my wife. You ask my wife, she didn't get cut off. But to me, they pulled out a little too close and did the thing that most truck drivers do, as I've talked about on this podcast multiple times at this point. We're only on episode 6, and I have trashed truck drivers relentlessly. And I know so many truck drivers that are not going to be happy about that, but it's fine. We're going to get back to the story. So anyway, these dudes cut off my wife. Now, if it was me that they cut off, I'd probably do something heinous like, ride their ass until we part ways. But my wife just kind of pumped the brakes a little bit and, slowed down so these tools could get up to speed. Now, within probably 10 seconds of this, I see a pistol being waved out the passenger side window, just like. And I'm kind of taken aback, and I stop for a second. I look at my wife. I'm like, did you see that? She's like, yeah. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and call whatever the authorities are in this situation. And, back in the day, I'd probably been like, wow, that's crazy. But now I'm 35. You're literally waving a gun around in front of my pregnant wife, my mother, and my child. So I'm like, nah, I ain't playing that shit no more, dude. Sorry. I'm going to call the authorities. All right. They can handle this. And so I call the non-emergency line. And of course, it takes like 3 different efforts to actually get through to someone because it's not technically an emergency. But we're still behind this truck. And now we're going into construction. So we're literally behind this truck. And I just told my wife, I'm like, I just want to get close enough so I can get their license plate number, knowing full well that they were probably freaking out if they turn around and look through their window and I'm just holding a phone like this, like just like a classic Karen move, like, and so this construction, I finally get through to someone. I start talking to them like, hey, yeah, we're in traffic. Someone started waving a pistol outside their window in front of us. And it was right after they cut us off. I don't know if it was intended to intimidate us for doing absolutely nothing, or if there's just morons in a truck waving a pistol around. Either way, I think they should probably be looked into. So as I'm on the phone, we're being redirected because the construction actually has the road closed. And so we have to go and drive through this little business center and come back around and come out. And the whole time I'm on the phone with this lady, she's like getting very confused about where we're even at. I'm like, no, we were headed on Seward Meridian. We were headed towards Bogard, but the construction has us turned around. So we're no longer heading in that direction. We're going back towards the light, towards the highway. And she's almost like not believing what we're saying, I guess. And so I'm getting frustrated. My wife starts talking to her. And this whole time we're behind this truck and we're headed back to that light. The truck goes in the lane to go straight, headed back towards the highway. And we turn right because we're trying to get back home. And so I'm on the phone with this lady as we pull up to this truck that's at the light. And we're looking to our left, making sure we can turn right. And as I do that, we notice that the window has been rolled down now on the passenger side. And I'm being just mad dogged by some, I don't know, maybe 20-year-old Alaskan dude with a vest and a hat. Looks like a straight up. Looks like he literally is on his way to binge through an entire series of Duck Dynasty. And that's fine. Do whatever you want with your free time, but don't be waving pistols around, right? And so I don't know if he's staring at me like directly in the eyes, trying to intimidate me, being like, yo, you better not be calling the cops or anything because I'm a duck. You better not be doing that. But me, I have zero patience. All right. You're either going to shoot me in the face or I'm going to drive away. And was it a stupid move for me to just mad dog him back with my pretty much entire lineage in the car? Yeah, it was. Especially because I was on the passenger side. So there's like 3 bodies. He would have had to shoot through my mom, my pregnant wife, maybe ricochet into my son before he even hit me. dark thoughts for sure. But in that moment, I'm like, no, dude, you're not going to start waving guns around, intimidating me and my family when I got my entire family in this vehicle with me, you know? And so I would have gone right there. He's a 20-year-old looking dude. Like, no, I could have taken him if he put the gun down. And maybe even if he didn't put the gun down. You know, he clearly has very limited understanding of proper gun safety. And that's fine. You know, do whatever you want. Accidentally shoot your own homies. But don't be waving that around me. You know, and I'm still on the phone with the cops. And I'm like, this is me locking eyes with him the entire time, by the way. As we're pulling up to the light, I'll just do it. And then we turn right. And then the fun part of that was that not only, you know, finally we get this dispatch lady who seems like we've just wholeheartedly interrupted something she was in the middle of, could not give a shit less. You know, we finally get her all the information and she's like, okay, state troopers may be calling you to verify some information. I'm like, cool. Now, tell me why over the next 25 minutes, before we even get home, I got 3 phone calls from the state troopers. 3. To the point, like near the end of it, I was like, you know what? Just cancel everything. It's fine. I'm sure they're not ne'er-do-wells up to no good. I'm sure they're great people just waving guns around. It's fine. I gave you the license plate. I gave the full license plate. All you got to do is beep, beep, bop, boop, bop, beep, 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 and boom. Oh, it's registered to Chad. Yeah, Chad. Interesting. Let's go check him out. No, I had to tell either the same state trooper or 3 separate state troopers the whole story multiple times. And here's the thing. I'm bad with directions as it is. I'm not directions so much as I'm bad with street names. I'm like, I don't know what the hell road I'm on. I know which direction I'm headed. I know how to get home from here. I'm like an adorable house pet from Homeward Bound, all right? I can always find my way back. I'm not going to use, you know, context clues and words on signage to get home, but I know the directions. I know the turns. So I'm doing my best just to be like, it was, no, it wasn't Bogart. We were heading back and we couldn't get there. You know, so I recite this whole story about 3 or 4 times to the state trooper. He's very kind. And then after that, we get home. I get one more, like as we've mentioned in the past, my son is potty training at the moment. So he's got underwear down by his ankles. I'm hoisting him up on the toilet and there's another phone call from the troopers. And I'm like, okay. And unfortunately, he peed through his underwear, not the state trooper, my son. Well, I don't know if the state trooper did or not because I wasn't there, but he could have or could not have peed through his underwear as well. But I was more concerned with my son. So I get him a fresh pair of underwear and he's talking about pee-pee and poo-poo and whatnot while I'm on the phone with the state trooper like, okay, go give it to Gima. Go give it to Gima. It's going to be all right. Yeah. So anyway, this guy was waving a gun around as you do. The final phone call that I got, I must have had 5 phone calls overall in the span of maybe an hour, you know, and who knows, maybe they'll call me again. Maybe it's not over, you know? He called me and he was going through this whole rundown of, and what emotion did you feel when you saw this gun being waved out? And at first they didn't even know that it took 5 phone calls for them to realize that what I had said was that he was waving the gun outside of the window. They thought that he was inside and I see a silhouette waving a gun around. No. This gun had taken flight. It was now in the air outside, like kids when they're driving on a long road trip do this and the air hits there. You guys know what I'm talking about. I got to describe it. Probably sent you down memory lane with that one. No, so he's literally out there waving this gun about. And it takes 5 phone calls from the Alaska State Troopers to realize that that's what I meant. And so then they're wondering, like, are you changing your story? Like, no. I said from the jump, he was waving it outside. That's how I knew it was the passenger side window. You know? The pieces are falling into place, aren't they? Isn't that nice? He starts asking me about like emotions, you know, like actual emotions. He's like, now, when you saw the gun in the air waving about, what emotion did that bring up within you? I'm like, what emotion did that bring up within me? I said, well, I didn't care for it. I wasn't stoked to see it. I was pretty upset, actually, because I have my entire lineage outside of a couple of family members in my car at this moment. You know, and Alaskans in general, worst drivers, been over that, the absolute worst drivers. And on top of that, a little trigger happy Alaskans with their guns and whatnot. Now, I don't know that for sure because I'm a California boy, unfortunately, and I moved out here, 8 years ago or something like that. So I'm not a true blood Alaskan, but from what I've seen, they sure do love their guns. Okay? I'm not a gun guy. Okay? I know what a pistol looks like, and I told you that, didn't I? So I told him, I was like, look, obviously, it probably raised my anxiety a little bit. I was not happy with that, especially because we were pretty much trapped behind this truck for a solid 5 minutes, getting turned around and going for the scenic route through the business district and all that fun stuff before finally parting ways. I was like, yeah, so I probably had anxiety. But hey, you should also know that I already have anxiety. And so now I'm spilling my heart to the state trooper. I'm like, now, was it the same level of anxiety I feel on a daily basis that grips my soul? No, it was actually elevated. It was more anxiety because there's guns involved now and my family. And you know who has to jump in the middle of that if something were to go awry? It's this guy. I don't care what. My wife could have rolled down the window, bleep, 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 you. And they would have pulled that gun out back. All right, time to go. And then guess who has to jump in front of it? It's me. So regardless of who instigated what, I'm the guy that gets shot. That's how it ends up. That's how this plays out. And so, yeah, my anxiety was even higher than it was usually, even higher. And let me tell you, sir, it gets peaked when I'm working, when I'm designing T-shirts for the elderly, when I'm designing the 4,000th fair sign that I've done for the year 2025. My anxiety is elevated. So you can only imagine how much higher it is when there's a gun involved and it's being waved out the window by a Duck Dynasty looking, I don't know. He didn't have a beard though. He was very baby faced. That's why I say he was maybe 20. And the guy asked me, he was like, was there any indicators of what he looked like? I'm like, well, he looked like picture it in your mind's eye. Imagine, if you will, you found him. Hey, you found him. Yep. You pictured him right off the bat. It's him. And he was wearing a hat, probably camo, couldn't remember I feel like I got lost in his eyes momentarily, and I feel like they were blue of some kind, but it was a brief interaction. I'm like, I can't give you more information than that. He was wearing what I believe to be a hunting vest, classic, and I know for sure that he had a gun. Was he, aiming it at me at the stoplight? No, he was just mad dogging me. And I was mad dogging back because A, I was hungry, B, I was tired, and 3, I wasn't having it, all right? Shoot me. I'll act hard. But the second that bullet hits me, it's drama. Picture the most dramatic person being shot in the world. Imagine it. That's me. Just down there, just writhing on the ground. Mama. Just the whole 9 for a solid 20 minutes before passing away. And I'd do one of these numbers where I pretend like I passed away. I'd be like, and then I just scream and wake up for a second and then pass back down. It would be pretty traumatic for those that witnessed it, but none of that happened because, as is usual, people like to act a lot harder than they are, myself included, never with a gun though. And then when the opportunity comes to be that hard guy, hey, you a hard guy? Then they next time, I'm going to get you next time. No, shut the fuck up, dude. You're not doing anything. Little pea shooter out a window. What you going to do, dude? What, you going to ruin my day? Probably. That would probably do it. Yeah. Even just the fear of it, the everyone in the car, my mom, my pregnant wife, my 3-year-old, what's the move? And I don't know if he didn't do anything because he saw it was pretty much a family in the vehicle or what, but either way, it was quite the way to end a Saturday. I'll say that. Not an ideal way to end a Saturday. But here we are, and I survived, which means that this show goes on for just another week. Isn't that something? And I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry for this. I made the mistake of apparently leaving the heater on. It usually doesn't turn on at all until the cold months, but for whatever reason, I got everything set up in here. Left to go take care of business, come back for a little bit, and the heater's on. So I'm sorry if this is another sweaty episode, all right? It drives me insane. I can't see the screen from here, so I'm going to have to do one of these numbers every 35 seconds and just hope So if you see me doing this, please don't be grossed out. And know that also, if you weren't grossed out and you're somehow turned on by this, I am a taken man. Okay, I don't know what your personal fetish is with sweat, but you should probably keep it to a dull roar around me because I'm spoken for. All right. Everyone's like, hey, that wasn't an issue that you needed to be concerned with, Scott. Nobody was concerned about that. Absolutely nobody. Not one single person watching this was like, wow, slice me off a piece of that, you know? But what I'm saying is I apologize if it is another sweat-episode. That is not what I intended. It was actually really cool in here. I enjoyed it. Probably why the heater kicked on. Should have checked that beforehand, but I didn't. It's fine. Yeah, it was perfect. I came in here, I was like, oh, I can actually wear a hoodie and not sweat my balls off. What a treat. What a treat. But here we are. And that's fine. I told you about the construction in that opening that is going on down Seward Meridian, and it's been going on for over a year. Hey, isn't that a treat? And hey, it's a 2-lane road. And hey, they're finally widening it, but it's been taking forever. Just like any construction in Alaska, takes place in the summertime primarily. So summertime is very brief. So that means that I am always not having a good time when I'm on the road. Because there was a time where I literally hit, just driving 30 minutes to work, I ran into, I think it was 3 or 4 full-blown construction sites. Between Eagle River and Wasilla, I hit 4 different construction sites, all of which had me stopped for a brief period of time, which was not a treat. I don't enjoy that. I'm a very busy person. I'm better than everyone is how that probably comes off. That's not the case. I just don't like being stuck in traffic. But hey, didn't need to say that because guess who likes being stuck in traffic? Absolutely nobody. Okay? Didn't need to be said, but I said it anyway because that's how I do things. And that's fine. What I'm saying is I'm pretty much over the traffic from the construction, and I take Seward Meridian to get home instead of Parks Highway. I just feel like it's quicker. It's probably not, but who gives a shit, honestly. So I was behind once again. It was a motorcycle, and this dude, well, first of all, this motorcycle cuts me off. All right. Now, I get upset with people that cut me off, just like everyone else in the world, but it's a motorcycle. What am I going to do? Go tap its tire, send him flying? Like, I'm not a monster. You know, so I was just like, you know what? Breathe, Scott. You get anxious and angry all the time. Maybe it's time to take a breath, take a breath. So this motorcycle speeds past me, cuts me off just before the lane goes down to 1. And then he's doing this number and like literally dancing to whatever weird music is in his helmet. And he does that for the entire time. And he's like weaving in and out of his lane. I'm like, dude, this is some next level shit. Like, just drive. Hey, just drive your motorcycle, Why you gotta weave? Why you gotta, first of all, cut me off and then dance in front of me like a clown? Are you a clown? Because you're dancing like a clown. Okay? And for a brief moment, we talk about intrusive thoughts. Okay? That is a very common subject on this podcast. And for a brief moment, and it had me actually laughing hysterically like a madman. All I could think in that moment, seeing this clown weave in and out, in and out. Oh, he didn't stop. The song went on forever. He's dancing. He's doing this number. He's going over here. All while riding his motorcycle. Yeah, and all I could think, the only thought that just kept inching its way into my head was, maybe don't watch out for motorcycles. Maybe don't. We're always told to watch out for motorcycles. Look out for bicycles. Hey, here's an idea. Look out for yourself. Do you think you're king of the road? Yeah? Can't be touched? Nah. One teensy-weensy little tap and I send you flying. That's all it takes. It takes a lot of control, is what it takes. Because people see you being a clown and they're like, I don't like when people are clowns unless I'm at the circus. And even then, hey, not a fan. Okay? Keep your clown stuff to yourself, dude. And I was laughing so hard because I was picturing, like, we all know the bumper stickers where it says, watch out for bicycles, or look out for motorcycles, or keep watch for motorcycles. Look out for motorcycles. Hilarious. Yeah, that's what I'm just going to spend my time looking out for motorcycles. How's that? Yeah, let's do that. No, but all I could picture in that moment, it just kept replaying in my head, is driving past a car and looking at their bumper, and the little bumper sticker says, maybe don't watch out for motorcycles. Maybe don't watch out for motorcycles. Hey, maybe don't watch out for them. And you know why? It's because of behavior like this. Because motorcyclists, they like to drive and like, They like to go in between cars and all this stuff, do their little monkey dance, right? And then they got the absolute balls to tell us to watch out for them. Hey, here's an idea. Obey the laws of the road. Have you heard of that? Have you heard of the law? Huh? It's been around for a while. So, maybe don't watch out for motorcycles. And obviously, I say that in jest. I'm not saying go out and like, this is the game Road Rash from the 1980s or 90s or whenever that beautiful game came out. They need to remake that. It's beside the point. What I'm saying is that if you're a motorcyclist and then you have the balls to tell people to watch out for motorcycles, hey, guess what? Not going to do it. Believe it or not, I watch out for every vehicle on the road, motorcycle or otherwise. If I didn't, my insurance premiums would go through the roof. Okay? So you don't need to tell me something that number one is obvious and number two is redundant. But if you drive like a clown, I'm not going to look out for your motorcycle. All right? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go there. Ooh, he controlled it for once. Isn't that something? But the people that get just seeing as many watch out for bicycles and motorcycles bumper stickers as I do, it just drives me up a wall. I'm like, because every time I see it now, I'm like, no, I've seen far too many. I've seen more reckless motorcycle drivers than I've seen car drivers. And there's a lot of reckless car drivers, which tells you something. You don't see any bumper stickers out there talking about, watch out for Subaru hatchbacks. Watch out for Subarus. No, you don't see any of that. Because we see them all the time because they're driving recklessly. And they're all blue for some reason. What's that about? Someone tried selling me one of those. It was black back in Vegas. For like 12 grand. I turned it on. I'm like, dude, I can't listen to that for the rest of my life, man. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You hear that at 5 a.m. when you turn on your car? Are you going to meet up with Vin Diesel and the ghost of Paul Walker? Because I doubt it. Even though it would make sense that they're working on a 500th Fast and the Furious movie. And speaking of, those movies just make me furious now because I'm done with it. It's been literally driven into the ground. It's been driven into the ground. I swear to God, if the next Fast and Furious movie isn't about Vin Diesel on some magical quest to go pick up butterscotch candies because his retirement home has run out, I don't know if it's going to be believable because these have gone on for decades at this point, right? It's got to be decades. I haven't watched a single one. Not a single one. And I know people that are just diehard fans of that series. Like, oh my God, Fast and the Furious. Oh, you don't love Vin Diesel? You don't love Papa Vin? If I wanted something that was all about family, hey, guess what? I'd roll up to the Olive Garden. Hey, Vin, you ever been to the Olive Garden? You're so into family. Swing through the Olive Garden. Swing through the Olive Garden. Maybe it's time. Maybe, have you had the bottomless breadsticks? Yeah, it kind of looked like you have. But it's fine. I'm not here to judge, especially not about chubby. I'm a chubby man. All right, I have enjoyed the bottomless breadsticks. That's fine. One thing that keeps, I guess this is just stories about me on the road. One thing that's been driving me up a wall for the last handful of years now is, out here in Alaska, we have about 5, maybe 6 billion coffee huts. You can't go more than 40 feet driving down any road without seeing a coffee hut of some kind. And that's great. That's great because we love coffee and I love coffee and I don't like waiting behind 15 cars to get my coffee. So I love that there's a wide variety of coffee huts to choose from. However, what I don't love is that every single barista within these coffee huts doesn't hear a word that I say. Now, I can say what I usually say is a 24-ounce iced white mocha. And yeah, maybe spritz a little bit of blueberry and vanilla in there because your boy is a little bougie and it tastes fantastic. All right. And every time without fail, they say, do you want whip? And I say, no, I do not want whip. No whip. No whip for me. Thank you. And they're like, okay, I'll have it right out. They turn around. Don't write anything down. Why would they? 17 minutes pass. The window opens and they present me with a coffee with whip. With whip. Every time without fail. With whip. And I'm like, am I just not screaming it loud enough? Do I need to like scream into the air around me that I do not want whip? Because I don't want whip. Hey, I don't want whip. Okay? It doesn't matter if I'm getting a coffee. Doesn't matter if it's a milkshake. Doesn't matter if it's a smoothie. Every single time without fail, including recently, a few days ago, when I was taking my mom back to the airport, ordered a milkshake because I didn't want a coffee because it would keep me up. And it was already 10 p.m. I was like, I just need a little kick to get me to the airport and back without, driving off a bridge or something accidentally. Because I was sleepy. Because it was the day that a gun had been waved around in the air in my vicinity, and that just took it out of me. I was like, oh, okay. Now I'm tired. That was a lot for me to mentally process. Way to go, me. But now I'm sleepy. So I got a milkshake, and she was like, do you want some whip with that? I said, absolutely not. No whip. No whip. Please, for the love of God, no whip. And she disappears for about 18 to 25 minutes. And she comes back with a milkshake with whip. And I don't say anything. Because it's whatever. It's not the end of the world if there's whipped cream on my beverage. But if if you ask me the question, I answer the question, then you do whatever you want anyway. Hey. Now, obviously, again, irrelevant. It means nothing. But don't ask me the question if you're not planning on listening to the answer, Hey, don't ask me the question. Just throw whip on there. You're not going to listen to me regardless. Just throw some whip on there. Hey, you know what? I just want whip. I just want whip. Forget the coffee. Forget the milkshake, the smoothie. Forget all of that. Just give me whip. Just an entire cup of whip. More whip, please. As you can tell, there are some things I complain about. They are a little teensy-weensy, and some are massive. I feel like I lean into the teensy-weensy ones more than other. Like, perfect example. I guarantee absolutely zero people made it to the end of the last episode because this is episode 6 and I'm a nobody. Okay. But if you did make it to the end of if you made it to the end of the last episode, I seem like I may be a lunatic because I spent a solid minute and a half screaming about loud trucks and the price of McChickens on DoorDash. Now, did I lean into that more than I should have because I thought it was hilarious? Yes. Did it come off like I might have been losing my mind? Yes. And there's no getting around that. It is what it is, But I will say that I'm not actually insane. These things, they rub me the wrong way. And then when I talk about them, I push just a little bit I put a little more oomph on it because to me it's hilarious if there's a man that's like irate about the price of McChickens. But to everyone else, it's probably like, oh, this dude is unwell. Hey, are you unwell? Do you need some help? And that's really not even a question that you should ask yourself when you're on a podcast called I'm Sorry for This that has a description of POV, you're my therapist. So pretty much this entire show is me just ranting about stupid stuff ad nauseum until I get winded and then turn it off. And it's not going to be every week, and it's not going to be whatever. It might be bi-monthly or once a month. I don't know. It depends on the schedule, obviously. I'm very busy all the time because, hey, I'm important, remember? It's all about me. Yeah, but it's not. So I was thinking about that as I was editing, as I finished editing, it made me laugh. And that for me is usually a good sign, but it's also a bad sign because my sense of humor is pretty dark. And to me, it's hilarious. But to everyone else, they're like, oh, Scott, do you need help? Is this a cry for help? Is you setting up a camera and venting about your rage issues? Is that a cry for help? I saw you screaming about McChickens for about 2.5 minutes the other day. Was that funny to you? The price of McChickens? Yeah. Revolting against DoorDash? Was that funny to you? And the answer is yes, because I'm a visual guy. I visualize it. And I'm not going to dig myself out of whatever weird box that I've been placed in by people that may have seen that. But to me, it was funny. But I think if I could honestly do it again, I would pull back the rage a little bit more and I would just do observational, quick-witted observational. That's what I'd go for. But it's too bad. It's too late. Wow, just forgot I was wearing glasses. Did you see that? I was like, idiot. Now I have to wipe my glasses. Hold, please. So, apologies for people that might have been uncomfortable with the McChicken rant at the end of the episode. I thought that would be a hilarious way to end the episode itself. I did not realize that it would actually terrify people. But it had me thinking afterwards, I'm like, I might have done that differently. But I can't go back and do a second McChicken price rant. Or can I? Guys, the price? No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. So, why do this this literally drives me. Well, it doesn't literally drive me insane, or maybe it did. Maybe that's why I'm insane. No, probably not. It's fine. I don't know if anyone out there can relate to this, but I end sentences with words that shouldn't be the end of sentences. I trail off mid sentence when I'm waiting for a response from someone. Does that make sense? Where I'll be like, yeah, I was just waiting for you to send that over. So what? But I end sentences with the word so at so often. And I don't understand why. Is it like a filler word to end the sentence? Is like, so now it's like balls in your court. I am volleying it back to you. It is up to you now to conclude what I'm saying. Do you understand? I have volleyed my words in your direction, and it is now you are going to take them into your ears, and you're going to be like, he ended it with so, which means he wants me to respond with, and then you're going to send it back to me. But I don't know why I do that. I have noticed that I do that far too often, though, and that's not good. I sound okay. I sound and I don't want to sound but hey, maybe I'm you know. So who's to say, really? But I just noticed that I keep ending with so, and even sometimes or. Like, so are you going to take this or? Or what? Was there more to that, Scott, or was it just you rambling? Oh, I have an idea. It was you rambling. Because it's usually you rambling. Oh, yeah. So, hey, did it again. But it's fine. Guys, honestly, I don't know what I'm rambling about right now. I'm doing this midday on a Tuesday because I have to film and record episodes for my other podcast. And I was like, if I do that, and then I'm kind of pacing myself weird, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get an episode of I'm Sorry for This out in time by the weekend. And again, I've already mentioned this isn't going to be a weekly show. There's going to be weeks that I miss, especially when, scheduling gets crazy and I got to get back to recording, 3 episodes a week of a different show and then get videos ready for the other show and all this stuff. It's going to be hard to toss this in a mix. But what I'm happy about is that this is a lot easier to produce for the most part. I just set up a camera and I sit here. And if I say things that I shouldn't say, I try to edit them out. But sometimes I miss. Oopsie. It happens. It happens. I've said plenty of things that would just send people into a spiral. And they're like, you're not supposed to say that, dude. What? Have you forgotten? Have you forgotten that you're not supposed to say that word? Hey, have you forgotten how bad these words hurt people? Huh? Yeah. People are very sensitive these days, yourself included. You can't be going around saying that, all right? You can't be saying that. Hey, everyone can find different words offensive. It's fine. It's part of being a unique individual. Okay, cutting off certain words because it's offensive to some people and not offensive to others is just weird. I think and this is probably going to get me in hot water, and I don't care, okay? Because no one's watching this. This isn't going to bite me in the ass for probably another 8 to 10 years, which is usually when stuff gets drudged up and they're like, hey, remember when this guy said this word 15 years ago? Wow. But my take on that overall is that if you say something to someone with the intent of being hurtful, then you're an okay? But if you're joking around with your homies and I look over, I'm like, oh, Greg, you're so retarded. Oh, Greg, you bitch. Guess what? Hey, nobody's getting hurt, okay? And if you overhear someone saying a word that hurts your feelings, mind your own business, okay? I wasn't saying it to you. Just be kind. Be kind. You don't have to be just running your mouth off, slurring left and right, but for the love of God, be kind. It's intent. Are you intending to be a monster when you say these things? Are you intending to rip someone apart and tear them down based on something they do or their appearance or their sexuality or whatever? Is that your intent? Then hey, you're an ass. That's fine. Be an ass, but acknowledge it. But if you're just some goofball messing around with your homies, calling each other left and right, that person's not offended. That person's not hurt. They're like, oh, Greg, you silly goose. You silly goose. No, you know how many times in my life I've been called a fat ass? That's a slur. What? Take it back. No, dude, say whatever you want. I don't care. Who are you? Who are you? And more importantly, who are you to tell me what is funny or offensive? Nobody. In the same exact breath, who am I to tell you what you can or can't say? Okay, we all do our own thing and it's fine. It's fine. Honestly, you speak the way you want to speak. I'm going to speak the way I want to speak. It's fine. And in this America, no, I'm fine. It's fine. I'm not trying to get in trouble with anyone else. It's cool. Hey, guess what? I'm not here to tell anyone what they should or shouldn't do. I think that is well established. Hey, go read the description of the show. You back? Okay, so I think it's made clear that I shouldn't dictate what anyone thinks, says, or does. I'm a weirdo. Okay, Radiohead wrote an entire song about me. And it's fine. And it didn't offend me in the slightest. But if it offended you, then you probably just shouldn't listen to that song, you know? Hey, I found something offensive in your video. That'll show him. He's definitely going to read that. Yeah, he's not going to say that again, is he? No. Comments are offensive. You want to talk about offensive? People behind a keyboard. Now that's offensive. All right? Just in the dark, saying whatever you want about anything you want on the internet. Like you are just gospel. Well, actually, if you take a step back and, we've decided now that you shouldn't be like, hey, shut the up. Okay? Let people live their lives. How's that? I'll close it out on this. I'm pleased to announce previously on I'm Sorry for This, I at one point had said that my son was watching weird Eminem videos with babies and bathtubs and ASMR for the Japanese. And I think I've gotten him out of that. Unfortunately, that means that I am forced to watch exclusively marble runs. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what a marble run is, it's sometimes real and sometimes it's 3D generated. And both incredibly boring. Nothing drives fury inside of me more than seeing people sloppily throw together a video. And I can tell just by the graphics alone, it's in Windows Movie Maker. I can tell from the graphics alone, it's in Windows Movie Maker. So I see them just lazily slop together this video of setting up little tubes and whatnot, dropping marbles down them, because that's cool. And my son is obsessed with it, right? But there's this one called like Marble Movie Makers or something like that. And these guys, they have to be, number one, they're grown men. I know that for certain. Never seen their faces, but I have to just imagine in my heart of hearts, I'm not going to say it, but I think we all know what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say it because I just got done saying the offensive bit. I'm not trying to get into more hot water, but it's fine. Literally, these guys don't edit their videos. They don't do anything except for roll marbles in places. They'll go to a park bench and the groove in the wooden bench, there's like multiple slats, the groove in that. They'll put a big marble there and then just flick it and it'll roll all the way down. Clunk, 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 clunk. And it'll land in a bucket. And then they'll make one in a beach and they'll dig a hole and put some PVC pipe down there and they'll drop a big marble. So I went from one wildly annoying video type to another wildly annoying video type. Thanks, son. But what I was trying to get to, I'll circle back around, is that these people get millions and millions of views. No editing, horrible, horrible camera angles, the whole nine. Millions of views for marbles. Hey, marbles. And that's fine. Whatever. Who cares? Honestly, who cares? I wanted to touch on the centipede's dilemma this week because I feel like it relates to me a bit, but I'm not going to do that. Maybe I'll do that next time. I'll save something for next time. I guess that's it. Next time, I'll talk about the centipede's dilemma. And after that, I'll talk about how every single post on Facebook now is AI generated slop videos and whatever targeting the elderly, and it's driving me insane. And that's fine.
I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry for this.
To my cord. Do I see my foot go to a cord? Can you move this out of the way?
It's got to stay there, bud.
Well, can I move a different way? Where's this tail so then I can spin better? So can you roll me down? Can you come roll me? I'm gonna move it a bit over here.